Wayne H. Yearout. I'm from 6 Mile, Tennessee, out in the country here from Maryville. Well, it was pretty nice back then. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you come from a big family?
I had 10 that lived to be adult, or 9, 8 lived to be adults, and they were 10 in the family.
Wow. Where did you go to school?
I went to school at 6 Mile Elementary School, and then I went to Everett High School.
Okay. And then when you finished at Everett, tell us about how you went into the military.
Well, I was drafted November the 6th, 1950, and first sent to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And I went from Fort Jackson down to Fort Benning, Georgia for advanced training. I went back to Fort Jackson to go to motor repair school, and then I shipped out and went to Germany for about 14 months.
Wow.
And I got sent back home. I went over on the ship, but my father was real bad sick, so they got emergency furlough and flew me home.
Wow. Do you remember what ship you went over on?
General C.H. Muir.
Okay. And what was it like being on that ship?
Well, it was pretty nice. We saw one whale way out, and we got up of a morning. Every day they'd put out a little pamphlet on how fast we were traveling and how long we was going to be going. We got up and saw the white cliffs of Dover and all of that stuff before we landed at Bremerhaven in Germany.
Okay. And then what was your job in the Army?
My job?
Yeah.
I worked in the motor pool.
Okay.
Field Artillery Battalion.
Wow.
4th Infantry Division. They just had reassigned it. Eisenhower seen that Stalin, they divided up Berlin, and he put an airlift on Berlin. So Eisenhower wanted 4 divisions in Germany in case he tried anything else.
Wow.
And we could go out to my outfit. We guarded the Full Gap, they called it. And we went out and you could see them Russians down in below us. When they'd go on maneuvers, we'd go on maneuvers.
What was that like?
Well, sometimes they'd slip back and forth, miss the line between them, but they usually just escort them back to their side of the thing. There wasn't no fighting going on or anything like that.
Okay. And then you said you were flown home?
Yeah.
And then is that when you were discharged?
Yeah. I was flown home, and I went back to Camp Kilmer, New Jersey. That's where I left going over, and they gave me 60-day or 30-day leave and said I'd probably get changed again. So while I was at home with my father, they sent me word to report back to Fort Jackson, and I went back up there, and I had served what I was originally drafted for, which was 19 months and 6 years. Then they raised it to 24 months and dropped that down to 5 years. So
okay.
I put in my time that I was originally drafted for.
And then when you got home, what did you do for a career?
Well, I went back to work at Alcoa, where I worked as a millwright before I was drafted.
Okay. Now, you came from a large family.
Yeah.
And you were telling me about one of your brothers that had a really interesting experience.
Well, that was my brother Daniel Allen. He was in the company that set off the first atomic bomb that was ever exploded at Del Delgado, New Mexico. He was stationed at Santa Fe. Well, he'd leave every day and he couldn't even tell his wife, or he had one little boy, where he was going or what was going on. And the day that they exploded that bomb, when he come home, they announced it on the radio. And she said, now I know where you better going every day. But it's all secret.
Yep. Wow. And he's deceased now, right?
Hmm?
He's passed away?
Yes. He's the one that I was sitting there with him when he passed away.
Okay. Now, you were telling me also that you had a first cousin that was killed in action?
Yeah, I had two. I had Daniel Ross Lambert, who was killed in Korea, and William Bernard Keller, who was killed at Utah Beach.
Wow. Now, with Daniel Lambert, were you pretty close to him?
Oh, we were just like brothers. We'd eat wherever we was at. We played together all the time when we was younger, and wherever we was at or wherever we stayed, well, that's where we slept. And our parents didn't worry about us. They knew that we was either at one or the other's house, you know. But we was close.
What kind of person was he, Daniel?
Oh, he was. We'd get out there seining around in the creek, and he'd get under there looking for mud turtles, you know, granny, and they called it. I never had that much nerve, but he would.
Now, what did you were telling me when he was leaving to go fight in the war? What did he tell his?
Well, he visited my dad, who he thought a lot of, and he called him Uncle P-Leg. For some reason, I don't know, he nicknamed him. He said, Uncle P-Leg, I'll never be back. And he didn't.
And he was killed.
He's back in a...
Do you know how he was killed?
He was killed with a landmine. He was driving a Jeep with two captains. He was their chauffeur. And they hit a landmine and it exploded. Concussion, killed all three of them.
Did you go to his funeral when he was buried? Did you go?
No, I was in Germany when he was buried.
How did you get word that he was killed? Did they?
They went and notified my aunt and uncle.
Mm-hmm. And then did they tell you?
No, well, my mother wrote me a letter and told me, but I got a letter after that from him. And he was telling me that everything was going good, that he'd be home for Christmas. He hoped I could make it back, said we'll open up a keg of nails if you're around at that time. But he didn't, he made it back, but he was in a coffin.
That's too bad. Now, your other cousin, Keller.
Yeah.
He was killed in World War II on D-Day.
Yeah, and his body was never reclaimed.
Right, and he's missing in action.
Yeah.
Do you have any memories of him?
Oh, yeah. He used to come to our house a lot.
What was he like?
Oh, he was easygoing, and he talked to my daddy just like it was his daddy. And he just downright good guy. Mm-hmm. One thing that happened, he'd spend the night with us a lot, him and this brother that I was telling you about it, the atomic bomb. And my daddy, back then, we had wood stoves and everything for heat. So my daddy told my brother to get up and build a fire. So he didn't get up. And my dad went up and he laid the cover down and whipped him, and he whipped Bernard until my brother.
Wow.
Bernard, he had tried to apologize. He said, that's all right, Uncle Elmer. I needed it anyway.
Wow.
Hey, we all got along great. Mm-hmm. Cousins and everything.
And with him being missing in action, how did that affect his family, his parents?
Well, his mother, who was my daddy's sister, it bothered her. Mm-hmm. She said that he never did say a bad word to her or anything.
Well, he's definitely remembered by our office, both him and Daniel, and we're proud of their service and their sacrifice, and we just want to remember them and know who they were, and especially.
I'm proud that I went, and I'm proud of. I didn't do anything great, but I'm proud I'm able to do what I was told to do for what time I was in there.
That's right. Well, we're proud of you, and just want to thank you for doing this interview today. And
I came over here, I didn't expect all the interview, but it's okay.
Well, I had to capture what you were telling me in the office because we don't want that to be forgotten. So, thanks again.
Thanks.
Appreciate you.
Thanks.